You're listening to an Airwave Media Podcast.
We took it all. We brought them to our land. An endless night, ember hot and icy cold. The rage of the earth. We made this curse. Carved it in the blood on our backs. We did not see. We could not, but she did. And in the end...
What will I become?
Senua's Saga. Hellblade 2.
Play it now with Game Pass.
Recorded in Chicago, Illinois, with your hosts, Ken, Matt, Neal, and Jeff. This is Triviality.
Hello and welcome to Triviality, the game where a lack of seriousness meets a little bit of knowledge. My name is Neal. I'm here with Jeff in studio. How are you feeling today, Jeff?
Oh, I'm great, Neal. How are you?
Doing all right. I'm a little chilly, though, because we had to crank the AC to like 64 prior to your arrival just to make sure that it was somewhat tolerable.
I mean, that's in my contract, so.
It is. It's in your rider. Ken isn't here. He's actually giving a candlelit tour of the Frank Lloyd Wright houses in Oak Park, Illinois. It is sunny still, so I don't know what the candles are for. Maybe for
a little bit of ambiance, please.
Yeah, aromatic qualities. So yeah, he's not here today, but Matt's here. How are you doing, Matt?
I am doing just fine, also by candlelight.
You are, and
Rolling
well, that's
blackout.
just because you're experimenting with becoming a vampire, possibly. Is that right?
I haven't ruled it out, so yes.
Okay, well, as long as you haven't ruled it out, I think all of our fans who listen when they sleep during the day will be happy about that. Now, we have some special guests today. Let's see. We have our returning guest. We'll start with him first. He's going to be hosting today's game. He's coming to us from Fayetteville, Arkansas. He's an Oakland 5 supporter on Patreon. And last time he had a lot of lens flares on his camera, which you couldn't see. But today he doesn't. But we're happy to have him back anyway. And that's Doug Behrend. How are you, Doug?
Hey, Neal. I'm good, thank you. Apparently, I'm pretty dark down here. Maybe I should get some candles, too. Candlelight host gig. I don't know.
So happy to have
you.
you.
Doing well. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, what have you been up to?
Living the pandemic life, hoping to come out of it. I'm a college professor, and so I taught online most of the year. Trying to run a department from afar is a little bit tough, but it's been good. I've had my daughters here at home with me most of the year, so that's been an extra bonus as well. And hopefully we'll get out of town here before things start up again in late August.
Well, it's really nice you got to spend some time with your family, and I'm sure that made all the downtime that much sweeter. So we appreciate you also taking the time to spend with us today.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. And we have a special guest who is going to be playing with Jeff today. She is from the Baltimore, D.C. area, also an Oakland 5 supporter on Patreon, and that is Kristen Berset Harris. How are you, Kristen?
Hey, guys. Good. How are you?
Doing very well. We're very excited to have you on. If you don't mind us saying, this is sort of a birthday episode for you, so happy birthday.
Thank you. Yep. Lordy, look who's 40. Just turned 40.
Happy birthday.
Well, congratulations, and we're so happy that you decided to spend it with us. We don't know if we're the best birthday gift, but we're going to do our best to make sure you have fun. But tell us a little bit about yourself.
My name's Kristen Berset Harris. I live in Baltimore, work in Washington, D.C. I'm actually a TV host. I host a morning talk show on one of the local stations. So we interview everybody from celebrities, chefs, local people, talking about all sorts of topics, musicians, actors. It's a great, fun show. We're on mid-morning for about an hour. So I've been doing it for 4 years. I love it. I get to meet some really cool people. And you all have kept me company for the last several years because I commute about a 3-hour round trip commute. So there's a lot of Triviality listening in my car. So I appreciate you guys for all of that.
Well, thank you. That is so flattering that we were able to help you and keep your commutes as entertaining as possible. And even though we might sound dumb or idiotic every once in a while, I'm just glad we're putting a smile on your face.
Always. You're always making me laugh. It's so much fun. And I really appreciate you giving me this birthday gift. Thank you.
Of course. And Matt, I think most of the laughs are probably coming from you, which, because you're always so funny. But do you want to partner with me today? Would that be okay?
I suppose I'll slum it with Neal today.
How about, since Kristen is probably a master at the teleprompter, how about we be the Teletubby prompters?
That's fine. Works for me.
All right. I don't know where that came from, but Okay, we'll be the Teletubby prompters. And Jeff and Kristen, any ideas on a team name?
Well, we hadn't discussed it. Is there any particular name that you usually play with, or?
Well, you could do a play on 40. You could be the 40 ouncers or something.
40 ounces. Yeah, it's part of one of my favorite Sublime albums, 40 Ounces to Freedom. So we could be 40 ounces.
40 ounces to trivia?
That's right.
I like it. So we have 40 ounces to trivia versus Teletubby prompter. And Doug, any preference on the rules read before we cut to it?
I do have a slight preference for the Dutch read, so if we can do a Dutch read, I'd be thrilled with that because I'm learning Dutch. Not really.
All right. Well, let's throw it to Willem and hear the Dutch rules read.
De regels van het spel zijn simpel. 20 vragen verdeeld over 2 rondes, waarbij elke vraag 10 punten waard is. Halverwege is er een speciale swingronde, ontworpen door de host van deze week. Na deze rondes beginnen de spelers aan de finale, met de punten die ze hebben verdiend. En hebben ze de mogelijkheid om 0 tot 30 punten in te zetten op 5 gecategoriseerde vragen. Aan het eind van het spel wordt iemand benoemd tot the cream of the crop.
The cream of the crop. Nobody does it better.
Well, then, yeah, we're excited. So, Doug, feel free to take it away, and we are ready to play. And I didn't mean to rhyme that, but that's okay.
You do that all the time.
I know, it's second nature, an accident, yeah.
Okay. First category is words that should rhyme. So these are words that look like they ought to rhyme, but don't. So I'm going to give you 2 clues, and you've got to give me the 2 words that don't rhyme. All right? Okay. So the clues are the relationship of Maya Rudolph to the late singer Minnie Riperton, and something that you are likely to hear while watching one of Maya Rudolph's movies. So one word describes the relationship of Maya Rudolph to Minnie Riperton, and the other is something you are likely to hear while watching one of Rudolph's movies.
Kristen, I'm fairly confident I could lock this in if you are willing to trust me on it.
I trust you, Jeff.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. So Minnie Riperton, I believe, is her mom.
Okay. Go
on. Yeah, I'm trying to think what would rhyme. Mom, mother, like not mother and laughter. Yeah, you wouldn't hear a laugh track on a movie. Man, I'm at a loss. I just know that's her mom.
It would really depend on how much you were trying to force the audience into
right.
kind of laughing along with you.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't even think of a Maya Rudolph movie.
I just know that that's her mom, but I'm trying to think of mom, mother, or she would be daughter. Oh, daughter and laughter. They're both spelled like the same way, kind of, just with a D and an L. You want to do that?
I want to do that. Yes.
Okay. It just came to me. All right. Daughter and laughter is our locked in answer.
I always hate when we give you enough time to think stuff out, because immediately I clued in on the mother-daughter relationship, and it's not pronounced laughter like the boss in the Drew Carey show. So that's what we went with, daughter and laughter.
All right. Very good. 10 points to both teams. Maya Rudolph is, in fact, the late Minnie Riperton's daughter. Right? She was a singer. Her father was actually Riperton's agent back in the day, and unfortunately, Minnie Riperton died of cancer when Maya Rudolph was just a young girl, 6 or 7 years of age. But both of you figured it out. Daughter and laughter is correct. All right. Question number 2 is playtime with Shakespeare. Now, I got the easiest Shakespeare category ever when I was on Jeopardy. All it did was gave the players the initials of the play, and you had to name the play. Sort of working off of that, here's the question. Not including plays that start with the article a, or such as A Midsummer Night's Dream, Shakespeare wrote 4 plays whose title begin with a vowel. So for 5 points each, I want you to name 2 of those 4 plays, and I'll give you 1 bonus point if you can name any of the others. So there are 4 plays that Shakespeare wrote that start with a vowel. Name 2 of them. If you can name all 4, you get some extra points.
I can lock in for us, Matt, if you want.
Okay, Kristen, what comes to mind when you think of Shakespeare plays that start with a vowel?
Shakespeare's not the best. I thought of Othello.
I had Othello.
Right. That's about as far as I got on that one.
Same.
I am blanking here, Jeff.
I know. I feel bad. Othello is. Oh man. Oh, Antony and Cleopatra.
Okay.
I think that's one. Okay, we'll lock that. We'll lock in Othello and Antony and Cleopatra. I think we're going to be satisfied with that.
You will be satisfied. There are definitely points on those two. And the other two, at least in what I think is correct, are also A's. So we locked in with Othello, Antony and Cleopatra, All's Well That Ends Well, and As You Like It.
Oh, As You Like It?
Yes.
That's so stupid. I should have gotten that one too.
Well, not surprisingly, I forgot about the bathroom poster. But
I like how this is like famous now.
Excellent, good. I was hoping you'd pull at least one of the other three there. All right. Question number 3 for this round. The category is containers. Containers. So this is sort of a current events question. In late March 2021, a container ship became stuck sideways in the Suez Canal, causing lengthy delays in shipping traffic through the canal. What was the 2-word name of that ill-fated ship that got stuck?
Matt, I'm okay to lock in with your guess because all I am bringing to the table is calling it Kaiser Sose. So whatever you think is right, I'm good with.
I'm picturing it being photoshopped into various other places, and the name is very prominent, and I think this is right, or it's at least close enough that I won't feel stupid when it's wrong.
Kristen, do you know this one? Do you remember the details from the story?
You think I would, right? Working in TV news. As soon as he started talking, I'm like, ooh, Suez Canal. I know it's the Suez Canal. I don't know. Do you want a tab or you want to throw something out there?
Let's see. Maybe as a nod to the previous Shakespeare question and ill-fated, we'll go Romeo plus Juliet.
All right, Matt, what do you think?
I think hopefully much like our content, I believe it was Evergreen.
That is really close. The ship was owned by a company called Evergreen Marine, but the ship itself was named the Ever Given. The Evergreen Marine has 11 ships that are named Ever, and then the second word begins with G. So this is question number 4 in round 1. Okay, and this is U.S. geography was the category, but this is going to be a kind of a mashup U.S. geography and movie question. In the 2009 movie Zombieland, the 4 main characters are each known by a U.S. city name. Of those 4 cities, 3 are state capitals. For 10 points, name the one of these names that is not a U.S. state capital. And for 1 point each, name any of the other 3 cities.
Kristen, I'm going to have to lean on you. I have never seen the film Zombieland.
As I have not either.
Well, how many cities can there possibly be in the United States? So you just...
So, Matt, I've given you all the names, all 4 names, but I couldn't tell you which one is not a capital. So.
Oh, my God.
This is great. I love this.
I know which
this
one
is
is
my favorite.
Okay. Are you okay to lock in?
Yeah.
But since we've never seen the movie, you want to just guess on a wild limb that the name is Omaha.
I like it.
All right. If this is right, I will kind of lose my mind.
And check us out on the Patreon bonus where Kristen and Jeff describe the plot of Zombieland without ever have seen it.
Do you want to try to name 3 state capitals for bonus points, or you just want to leave it there?
Oh.
I could see Tallahassee also being a potential name of one of these people.
I was going to go with my home state of Florida. Yeah. So Tallahassee, let's go with that. Lansing, and what's something out west?
Boise, Phoenix, Helena.
Phoenix could be a zombie name.
I like Phoenix.
Phoenix, Lansing, and Tallahassee.
I forgot the list, but thank you. Yep. So those
Omaha is our first one.
Yeah, we're going to go with Omaha with Lansing, Tallahassee, and Phoenix as our bonus guesses.
Well, Omaha was in the spin-off Zombieland where Peyton Manning played a zombie, I'm sure.
I wondered about that.
But Matt, I'll let you read the names because like I said, I didn't know which one was not a capital, and then when you told me which one it was, I felt very dumb. But you did get points, Jeff. I will tell you that. I'm not going to tell you which one, though. Go ahead, Matt.
Yeah, the names were Columbus, Little Rock, Tallahassee, and the one that Neal was not sure if it was a capital or not, Wichita.
Oh.
Yeah, you were in the right part of the country with Omaha. Just one state south, you would have gotten to another state that has a smaller capital city than its largest city, which is Wichita.
So Kristen's Florida roots came in handy there. You got a point.
Absolutely.
My roots are just going gray, so
we have just for triviality. It's coming soon. TM.
All right. Category number 5. I'm sort of going in the order in which not exactly in which they came to me, so maybe a little bit unbalanced. But I had a full category on Audra McDonald on Broadway, which was great because I love Audra McDonald. But I think there have been like 2 or 3 Audra McDonald questions on Triviality lately. But here's one I don't think's been is asked. So as you probably know, Audra McDonald has won more Tony Awards for acting than any other actor. But she's also appeared frequently on television. Audra played the character Grace in the 1999 direct-to-video version of what Tony Award-winning musical, which was previously adapted into a movie in 1982. The version in which Audra was in featured Victor Garber, Kathy Bates, and introduced Eileen Quinn as the title character.
All right, we're going to lock in with, luckily, a couple questions that I knew right off the bat, which is going to be bad coming forth here. I think it's going to get much worse. But yes, we're going to lock in.
All right, so I know somewhat of Broadway. So I'm just trying to think of shows that would have been around that time that have like a person's name in it. Oh, what's the one where the guy dresses like a girl to get a job, or the girl dresses like a guy?
Medea. Wait, what? I don't know.
Funny, I was going to say Mrs. Doubtfire.
Which is on Broadway coming in January.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
You want to go? Annie was the first one that came.
I think
Anything
Annie.
else?
I think going with your gut is sometimes the right place, so we'll go with Annie.
All right, Hard Knock Life it is.
Neal, do you want to put him out of their misery, Neal?
Well, Jeff.
Yeah, I'm going to throw it to Matt.
Yeah, Jeff says he doesn't know Broadway. I suggested Simon Birch the musical, which I think is as far away from an answer as you can possibly get. But Neal knew pretty much right away. This is Annie.
Absolutely correct. Way to go, Jeff and Kristen.
All with that. Yeah. No, I would have never. That was all Kristen.
I haven't been keeping score. I hope you have, Neal.
Yeah, I have. And normally it's right. Sometimes it's not, but we'll see what happens today. So it looks like team 40 Ounces of Trivia has 31 points. And team Teletubby Prompter, with all their bonus points, 10, 20, 30, 40, 45. So it is 31 to 45.
All right. Good first 5 questions. Here's question number 6. And so I had a category called a category of Corys. So it's about people named Corey. And
all right.
If you were like me, when you heard this, you were sure that there was going to be a question about Corey Feldman and Corey Haim, but unfortunately there was not. And so since I just said that, there's not going to be a question about them on this show either. But so sorry about that. Boo. So, but here's another. In the 1980s, there was another Corey who is best known as the lead singer for the band Living Colour, who actually appeared in a movie, appeared in Platoon in 1986, a year before Corey Feldman and Corey Haim appeared in The Lost Boys. So can you name this singer and actor?
I think I know it, Matt, but I'm not 100% sure. So you don't have any idea on this one?
No, everything I know about them is CM Punk related, and that doesn't help here. So you can lock in with, if it wasn't Corey Hart, who made a solo career afterwards.
Kristen, it's funny he should mention Corey Hart, because Corey Hart was the first 80s Corey that came to mind, actually before Feldman and Haim. But I don't think he fits this description. Do you know what Doug's talking about?
I don't. My only thought was, I know the band is called Living Colour, but maybe he has a colorful last name like White or something like that kind of just happened to go with the band name.
I don't know if I've ever locked in with Lucky Johnson. You want to go Corey Johnson?
Go for it.
Awesome. We'll do Corey Johnson.
So the answer came to me. I know that he was in Platoon, but the story goes with Corey that he was a student, kind of a rambunctious student at John Quincy Adams High School. And he had a very influential teacher who kind of changed his life and his brother's life and all of his friends and whatnot. And his
Did he
girlfriend's
also weirdly follow him from like grade school to high school to college?
He did, and I think the reason he started the band was to impress his girlfriend Topanga. So you said Corey Matthews.
Is this a real person? I was like, if it's Corey Matthews, I'm gonna lose it.
Yeah. Well, I'm not giving out any points this time, I'm afraid to say. No Corey Johnson nor Corey Matthews. No, this isn't. I thought about trying to give a clue to this name by cluing into something about Childish Gambino, because this man's name is Corey Glover. Right, and so Donald, no relation to Donald Glover, but it's Corey Glover. Yeah, he was the lead vocalist of Living Colour. They won a couple of Grammys for hard rock performance. Cult of Personality was their huge song. He also has toured a lot with the funk sort of funk jam band Galactic, if you are into that kind of stuff as well. So, but Corey Glover was the name there that I was looking for. So. No points there, but let's go to another music question. Actually, I'm sorry, it's not a music question. This is a philosophy question, but I'm turning it into another popular music question. This game is turning into be pretty heavy 1980s, not intentionally, but I'm seeing it now as I'm looking at it. But philosophy. So, but I'm going to change this to a popular music question. So, and I'm going to try to do it in my best professor voice since I am a professor. So, let's see if I can do this. The following lyrics can be found in what song, which reached number 7 on the Billboard Hot 100 in 1988 and was named number 23 on VH1's Top One-Hit Wonders of the 80s. Here are the lyrics. Philosophy is the talk on a cereal box. Religion is the smile on a dog. Now, I'm not aware of too many things. I know what I know, if you know what I mean.
It's definitely not the song I'm going to tell you, but I would applaud it if it was.
Go cameo word up.
Could go cameo word up.
Yeah, I think we're locked in now.
Kristen, so before we get to Neal and Matt's answer, do you know this one offhand?
No, my original thought was Neal's. What if God was one of us? What if religion?
I'm pretty sure this is the one-hit wonder from Edie Brickell and the New Bohemians, and I believe it's What I Am. And that's the one that's like, what I am is what you are. Yeah.
I don't think I've ever heard that song. Yeah, we didn't know.
Oh, you have.
We just said that we hoped that those were lyrics from I Think We're Alone Now. That's what we went with.
Well, no, Jeff got it right on there. That is the 1988 song by Edie Brickell and the New Bohemians. All right.
What is our team name, Neal? Just so I can write it down.
You're 40 ounces of trivia.
40 ounces of trivia. Thank you.
Yeah, we're the Teletubby prompter.
10 points for 40 ounces of trivia. So sorry.
Yeah.
Figure it out by the end of the show.
Maybe. For some reason, I got it written the wrong way compared to how you're appearing on my screen. So
depends on how much I'm drinking before we're done.
Yeah. Kristen 40 hands. That's what you'll be. It works.
Yeah, we'll just change it right now. You're going to be Kristen 40 hands. How about that? For your birthday. There you go.
Okay, next question is category is called gangrene. Not the disease gangrene, but 2 words, gangrene, about green things and green people and things like that. So, but this is going to be a sports question about things that happen out where it's green. All right. In June of this year, James Conrad won the men's world championship in what sport? With what has come to be known as the holy shot. This sport, which saw unprecedented growth during the pandemic, has a governing body that is known by the acronym PDGA.
Okay. All right. We're locked in over here.
Oh, no. I thought of putt-putt golf, the professional putt-putt golf at first.
That'd be cool.
On the Ocho.
I didn't know you could be professional at that.
He's about to sink a 20-foot putt into the clown's mouth.
And the gorilla swiped it away.
Holy shot.
I think we're onto something here.
Well, the category is green, and he mentioned things, and I might be reading too much into it, mentioned things happening in the green. So I'm thinking maybe it's not in an arena.
Right.
Outdoor disc golf.
Disc golf? Yeah. I had the same thought, same time.
Okay.
I like disc golf. Yep. We'll lock that in. Professional Disc Golf Association.
This is the opposite of when we gave you too much time to get it. We thought I was thinking at first, Professional Dart Guys Association, but I don't think that works. So we also said disc golf.
Points to both teams. Very good. Okay, next question. This is a category with starts with one letter, but ends with the next. All right. So starts with one letter, ends with the next. What is a 10-letter word that means illegal goods? This word is also the title of a 2012 action thriller starring Mark Wahlberg and Kate Beckinsale.
Now you're speaking my language. We can lock in, Matt.
Yeah, I had a feeling.
Is this contraband?
That's the word I was thinking of. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense. It starts ends with C and D, and I think I counted 10 letters, but my spelling is terrible, so let's not base it on that.
Hey, Jeff, are those drugs? Are those drugs in your bag? Yeah, we went contraband as well. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, both teams got this one right. It is, in fact, contraband. Very, very well done.
Say hello to your dealer for me.
Yes. No contraband here. All right. Very good. So question 10. The category is called Halt, about things that stopped. But this is going to be a TV question. The AMC series Halt and Catch Fire takes place during the 1980s personal computer revolution. The characters in this show originally worked at a company called Cardiff Electric, which is loosely based on what company, which was founded in Dallas in 1951.
Mm-hmm. I watched this. I watched season 1 and 2 of this show. It's actually very good. But I think this.
I heard it's good. Yeah.
We can lock in.
Okay. Yeah. Let's go with yours.
All right, Kristen. Any chance you've watched *Halt and Catch Fire*?
Oh, I was so hoping you had.
No, AMC betrayed me with like the 12th season of The Walking Dead. So
never going back. *Halt and Catch Fire*.
When I think of like tech companies from Texas, though, HP would be too new, or Dell would be too new. Oh, it could be HP. But what about Texas Instruments, like the calculator manufacturers?
We also locked in with Texas Instruments.
Yeah, it's based in Dallas in the 1980s. That company would in fact be Texas Instruments. Too early for Dell. That was good process of elimination there, Jeff. But Texas Instruments is correct.
Thanks, Doug.
Very, very good.
Well, after the first round, it looks like Team Teletubby Prompter is at 75 points, but coming right back to make things interesting, we have 40 ounces of trivia / Kristen 40 hands with 71 points. So it's a very close game. Right. Doug, what do you have in store for us for the swing round today?
All right, how about a little CanCon going on here? So I had a category called Spot the Canadian, and basically in which they listed the names of 3 people, and we had to find which was the Canadian. So I've got 10 such lists of these. I'm going to give you 10 groups of 3 names, and you've got to tell me which one of those 3 are Canadian. And by Canadian here, I mean born in Canada, a native-born Canadian. So group 1 is Hayden Christensen, Ian McDermott, and Natalie Portman. Group 2 is Gregory Peck, Orville Peck, and Sam Peckinpah. Group 3 is Bianca Andreescu, Simona Halep, and Angelique Kerber. Group 4 is Douglas Adams, Doug Ford, and Dougie Fresh. Group 5 is Lucy Liu, Sandra Oh, and Michelle Yeoh, or Yo, Y-E-O-H. Group 6 is Scott Bakula, David Duchovny, and Nathan Fillion. Group 7 is Serge Ibaka, Joe Ingles, and Andrew Wiggins. Group 8 is Alice Munro, Annie Proulx, and Ann Tyler. Group 9 is Brian Adams, Brian Boitano, and Brian McKnight. And Group 10 is Joan Baez, Judy Collins, and Joni Mitchell.
Okay, we will be right back with our answers.
We took it all. We brought them to our land. An endless night, ember hot and icy cold. The rage of the earth. We made this curse. Carved it in the blood on our backs. We did not see. We could not, but she did. And in the end...
What will I become? Senua's Saga. Hellblade 2.
Play it now with Game Pass.
And after what seemed just like an eternity, we are back with our answers. So, Doug, let's hear those groups one more time, and we'll give our answers.
All right. So group one, you hopefully recognize these as actors from a few Star Wars episodes. Hayden Christensen, Ian McDermott, and Natalie Portman. Let's hear from 40 Ounces of Trivia first here.
All right. I can't remember who Ian McDermott is. I'm pretty sure Natalie Portman was born in Israel. So we said Hayden Christensen.
Yeah, I'm almost 100% sure Hayden Christensen is Canadian.
That is correct. Portman is born in Israel. McDermott is Scottish, and McDermott does anybody know who McDermott played in those movies?
The Emperor.
Correct. Great. This is sort of one of the sound-alike ones. Gregory Peck, Orville Peck, and Sam Peckinpah.
We were torn between Orville Peck and Sam Peckinpah, but we just went Peckinpah.
Great. And 40 Ounce of Trivia.
Yeah, we were torn between the two as well. And since we didn't know, we just liked saying Peckinpah. So we chose Peckinpah.
Well, both of your coins flipped the wrong way. This is the country singer and Orville Peck. He's sort of initiated or is a leader in what genre of country music that's sometimes called queer country. He's the guy who wears the mask. If you've seen him on any pictures and stuff, he's got this great deep voice, classically trained voice now in country music. But Orville Peck is the Canadian here. Group three are excellent women tennis players: Bianca Andreescu, Simona Halep, and Angelique Kerber. 40 Ounce.
And we didn't know with this one. We went Kerber.
We also didn't know, and we said Kerber.
Your three-way coin is, again, incorrect this time. This is actually the defending U.S. Open champion, Bianca Andreescu, currently ranked number 4 tennis player in the world. Angelique Kerber, maybe I was a little bit mean. She just lost in the Wimbledon final a couple weeks ago, so her name may be fresh in your mind.
That's where I knew those names.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Group 4 are the Dougs: Douglas Adams, Doug Ford, and Dougie Fresh.
We believe that Doug Ford is the Canadian politician who had a little trouble with nose candy or whatever you want to call it. So we said Doug Ford.
Oh, damn it. He was that ridiculous, outlandish mayor from Toronto.
Yeah, we went just because we went with Dougie Fresh. We didn't know.
I'm glad somebody chose Dougie Fresh. He's actually born in Barbados. But the answer is Doug Ford. Now, he is the current premier of Ontario. His brother, Rob Ford, is the one who was the former mayor of Toronto, who had all the legal problems that were alluded to just a moment ago.
Sorry for besmirching the good name of Doug Ford.
Yeah, or of Dougs everywhere. Anyhow,
we would never do that. Doug.
Group 5 was Lucy Liu, Sandra Oh, or Michelle Yeoh.
All right. So I think Michelle Yeoh was born in China. Lucy Liu, I'm fairly positive, is American, but I thought Sandra Oh was Canadian, so that's what we locked in with.
Yeah, we were pretty sure that it's actually short for Sandra Oh Canada, so we said Sandra Oh.
Points all around there. Sandra Oh is correct. Michelle Yeoh, I believe, was born in Malaysia, but
Malaysia, that's right.
is from ethnic Chinese from Malaysia. Scott Bakula, David Duchovny, Nathan Fillion.
We weren't totally sure. I love me some Nathan Fillion, and it just kept coming that it seemed like he was Canadian. Didn't think Bakula wasn't sure, so we said Nathan Fillion.
He seems like the kind of guy that says sorry a lot.
We felt the same way. We thought he was Canadian just because he's so nice, but we said, you know what? Maybe it's fun that David Duchovny was in Californication, but he's actually Canadiancation. So we said David Duchovny.
Well, follow your nice radar. The answer here is indeed Nathan Fillion. All right. I think some people knew that Serge Ibaka, Joe Ingles, and Andrew Wiggins are NBA players. What'd you say?
Pretty sure we knew he was a Raptor, but that doesn't make him Canadian, but we guessed Serge Ibaka.
I believe he played for the national team once, for the Canadian national team. I'm pretty sure this is Andrew Wiggins.
Well reasoned. It is Andrew Wiggins. In fact, Serge Ibaka was born to Congolese and Spanish parents. Joe Ingles is from Australia. Next group 8. 3 authors whose first names all begin with letter A: Alice Munro, Annie Proulx, and Ann Tyler.
Yeah, we weren't really sure that much. We thought Proulx seemed maybe a French-Canadian kind of name, so we went with Annie Proulx.
We had the exact same reasoning. We saw the X there. We thought maybe it was French-Canadian. We went Annie Proulx.
And the answer is Alice Munro. Alice Munro was the only native Canadian to this point to have actually been credited as winning a Nobel Prize. She won the Nobel Prize for Literature in 2003. This gets some Canadians mad because Saul Bellow, who's also won a Nobel Prize, was also born in Canada but moved to Chicago, of all places, when he was a young child and was credited as being an American when he won the Nobel Prize. All right, what about the Bryans? Bryan Adams, Brian Boitano, Brian McKnight.
Pretty sure that this one is Bryan Adams.
I could not remember if it was Bryan Adams or Ryan Adams that was Canadian, and I think it's Bryan Adams, so we said Bryan Adams.
Yep, he got his first real 6-string back in summer of '69. It's Bryan Adams. And then finally, folk singers, Joan Baez, or folk singers and songwriters, Joan Baez, Judy Collins, and Joni Mitchell.
So Joan Baez was just honored at the Kennedy Center Honors. I really didn't know much about her until I saw that. She's a huge activist, I know, here in the States. So I wasn't sure if she was Canadian, so we went with Joni Mitchell.
We were thinking that Joni Mitchell just seemed American, and we didn't know Judy Collins, so we went Collins for this one.
And the answer is, in fact, Joni Mitchell. Who was born and raised in Canada, moved to Southern California and began her music career. If you listen to some of her earlier songs, you can hear the Canadian accent. You can't hear it much later on. And she's been in ill health lately, but they've just celebrated the 50th anniversary of her landmark album called Blue. So, but yes, Joni Mitchell.
Well, the only people we have to say sorry to are ourselves. We didn't perform as good as we probably wanted to, but it looks like Kristen 40-hand/40 ounces of trivia is going to have 96 points going into round 2, and Teletubby Prompter is at a clean 100. So let's go right into 2, Doug, if you're ready.
Great. So question number 1, round 2. Category is Who Goes There? The Who here stands for the World Health Organization. And when I was on the show, the category is about places where the WHO was doing work. But what city would you have to travel to if you wanted to go and visit the World Health Organization's headquarters? So in what city is the World Health Organization headquartered?
Matt, I think we can actually lock in. Because when you're on WebMD all the time looking at your own ailments, it leads you to the WHO website, and I believe I know where it's at.
Oh, my God.
I don't know why Zurich came to mind.
I was also thinking Switzerland for some reason.
Yeah.
I like Zurich.
Okay.
I was feeling Switzerland from the get-go, so.
And we also thought it was in Switzerland, but I believe it's in Geneva, so that's what we locked in with.
Yeah, points here for the Teletubbies. It is Geneva, Switzerland, and not Zurich, Switzerland. So close. I guess if I had asked just for the country, y'all would have both had it right. So round 2, question 2. The category is 20th century inventions. So the first true, because this is sort of the callback to the Texas Instruments one, the first true electronic pocket calculators were developed independently and went on the market in Europe, Asia, and North America at just about the same time. In what decade did this occur? So, and when I'm talking about pocket calculators, I'm talking about really the ones which are capable of being handheld comfortably.
Yeah, we are locked in. I don't have a reason. We're just locked in.
Not sure why, Kristen, but like either the 50s or 60s was kind of coming to mind. I mean, having said Texas Instruments was founded in 51, I don't know if that's leading me down that path. Did you have any insight on that?
Well, if they were founded in 51, maybe it would be in the 60s.
I could buy the 60s.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
Trying to
sure
think about
there's probably other
computers and
companies that were before, but giving a company time to find something that you can hold. I don't know.
okay.
I mean, I'm good with
I'll
either, but
I'll buy the 60s. I think that's probably right on the cusp. So
You guys are going with 60s. I'm thinking something similar. I think, TI was founded and then it took them 10 years and they finally got around to making them calculators. So we said 60s.
Well, I've got a tough call here. I was doing a little bit more research here. So the first pocket calculators went on the market in 1971, but they were invented in the 1960s. So I think, I think I ought to. That's blurry enough, and 1971 is close enough. Since you both answered, I'm going to give you both teams points there. But they were invented in the late 60s and went on sort of mass market availability in the 1970s. The category is Tarzan review books, and this was sort of a joke category where Alex gave the clues to novels in Tarzan voice, like that in bad grammar. But this is just going to be a question about Tarzan. What 20th century American author created the character of Tarzan of the Apes and wrote over 20 novels and short story collections featuring the loinclothed hero?
Kristen, do you know this one offhand?
I don't. The name George is coming to me, but that's all I got.
Is it George of the Jungle?
Probably.
Because I don't know anything about this. Yeah, I think we're a little out of our depths on this one. So
yeah,
I'm
George
all right
Eliot. For some reason, is that an actual author? I don't know.
George Eliot? Yeah, I believe so. She wrote The Mill on the Floss. That was her pseudonym, I believe.
Scratch that then.
Yeah, yeah. I believe she was a 19th century writer, but I think we're just gonna have to tap out.
Okay. So Matt texted me Phil Collins, which I wish was true. And we were singing along with his score that he did with NSYNC for the Disney movie. But I believe it's the last name Burroughs. I know it's a 3-named person. I could not tell you what the first name and middle name is, but I think it's Burroughs. That's what we locked in with.
That's so funny you said that because that's exactly when I tested these with my daughters. That's exactly what they said. Phil Collins. But in fact, the name is Edgar Rice Burroughs, not to be confused with William S. Burroughs, who wrote stuff like Naked Lunch. But it was Edgar Rice Burroughs, and he got very wealthy off of this and built a large mansion in Southern California, which is now located in the LA suburb called Tarzana. So Tarzana, California, is actually named after Tarzan. And
no way.
So I should have saved that for another question. All right, question 4. This was a baseball category, which I loved. Ways to get to first base. So here's a baseball question. In common baseball scoring notation, what number is used to represent the first base position on defense?
I've had to keep score a few times in the press box as a former sports anchor, but if I get this wrong, I would be really embarrassed. I'm not exactly sure because I know it's like pitcher and catcher first and second, so I think it's 3.
I thought so too. I thought it was 3.
That's it. Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I'll probably embarrass myself, but it's like pitcher, catcher, or 1 or 2, one or the other, and then around the infield and then around the outfield to 9. Okay, we'll go with 3. Lock in with 3.
All right, 3. And the Teletubbies.
Jeff, if the shortstop's going to be the 6, so if you have a shortstop to second baseman to first baseman double play, it's a 6-4-3. It's the 3, so 3 is correct.
That's right.
That is right. Pitcher 1, catcher 2, first baseman is 3, regardless of who's on first.
As soon as you said 6-4-3, I was like, oh yeah, of course. That's
how I
what
was
you hear
coming to
all
it. I
the
was like, it's
time.
not the double play. I was like, don't they always like usually end in 3?
That's right.
Yeah.
Usually.
Unless the pitcher covers
Roundabout
first
way.
base. No, we won't go there.
Yeah. I know.
All right. Very good. Points for both teams. All right. Question number 5 then. The category is It's Brown. You can imagine what was going in our heads when we heard It's Brown. But here is the question. The hot brown is a sandwich which was invented at the Brown Hotel in what city on the Ohio River? Though other ingredients can be added or substituted, a hot brown traditionally is an open-faced sandwich made of turkey and bacon, then covered in Mornay sauce and baked or broiled until the whole darn thing begins to brown.
Yeah, we talked about it once on the show, like not for a question. We were saying it's very appetizing the way it sounds.
Somebody was talking about a hot brown, and we're like, tasty.
Yeah.
Well, I think it was.
I have no idea.
Relation to the famous Skyline chili conversation that we were probably having around the same time. We can lock in. I like one of your answers. I'll text it over to you.
So I do remember you guys having a conversation on a previous episode. I don't know. So as soon as he said it, it like kind of jarred something. But the first thing that came to my mind was Cleveland. Is that on the Ohio River? I don't know. I'm an East Coast girl. I don't know.
Oh yeah. I was thinking it was either Ohio or like into maybe Kentucky. Kentucky was sticking in my mind for some reason, so I'm not sure if that's like a Louisville thing. We do have a lot of Louisville listeners on, so
Louisville doesn't sound bad.
I think that might be on the Ohio River, and it's just far enough removed from like an Ohio city to maybe be right.
I'm fine with that.
We thought maybe that the team was, their owner was named Paul Brown, but they just really enjoyed that sandwich in Cleveland. So we said Cleveland, but I'm not 100% sure.
All right. Cleveland, Ohio is on Lake Erie and the Cuyahoga River.
That's right.
The hot brown, as Jeff said, comes from a city where there are lots of good trivia players, many of whom have been on your show before, and it is, in fact, Louisville, Kentucky.
Hey, all right.
Nice, Jeff.
Thank you. I'm proud of that one. I remembered a thing.
Nice job.
Thank you.
Let's see. So with that nice poll about Louisville, looks like team Kristen 40 hands / 40 ounces of trivia is at 126, and the Teletubby prompters are at 140.
Wow. Close game.
Still a really close game. Let's go to question 6. All right. This is a category, Let's Go Online. Self-explanatory. So we're going online, especially thinking about watching stuff online. And so here's the question. Launched in the U.S. on January 4th, 2021. On what streaming service can you now find titles such as Hometown, 90 Day Fiancé, and Cutthroat Kitchen?
Okay, we can lock in over here.
First, Discovery Plus came to mind.
I was also thinking that because I thought like 90 Day Fiancé was like a TLC show.
Right.
And that would be in the Discovery Plus like network of shows. Okay, we'll go with Discovery Plus.
So thanks to my mom, who messaged me a million times and said, you got to download Discovery Plus, especially if Colleen wants to watch the newest season of 90 Day Fiancé. We said Discovery Plus.
All right, so points to both sides there. Here is now question 7 of round 2. And the category here is Republicans, and it's about Republicans. So in the current U.S. Senate, there is only one surname shared by 2 senators, both of whom happen to be Republicans. One is currently the only black Republican senator in office, and the other served as governor of his state from 2011 to 2019, when he joined the Senate after being elected in 2018. So what is their shared last name? And for a bonus, what 2 states do these senators represent? 1 point each.
We think we have the last name, so we're just going to lock it in.
The first thing that comes to mind for me is I think this lines up with Rick Scott, the former governor of Florida transitioning to Senate. And I believe that was 2019. That he would have taken office after the 18 midterms. And then that's where DeSantis came in. So do you want to just go with the last name Scott, since that's shared between the two of them? I don't know. I can't remember the other Scott state, but I'm pretty sure Scott is correct for him as well.
So we have Florida. I feel like it's like a southern state.
Yeah. I can see his face, but I can't remember too much about him.
Alabama's fine.
We'll say Scott. Yeah, Alabama and Florida.
Yep.
Okay.
It's good SEC rivalry right there.
Scott and Alabama and Florida. Yep.
We had a very similar reasoning. I just remembered that Rick Scott had left the governorship and went to the Senate and then was replaced by DeSantis. So that was kind of what we locked in. We were like, it has to be Scott. So we locked in with Scott, and then Florida. And we think there may be a senator from Georgia with the last name Scott. So that's what we went with for the other state.
All right. Both teams correct. It was Rick Scott from the state of Florida. The other senator there, and these are not the Property Brothers, is Tim Scott, who is also from a southern state, but you got to pick the wrong SEC rivalry. This is South Carolina.
Okay.
So, but 11 points. I've got 11 points for both sides there. Okay. Let's see. Question number 8. Following Republicans, the category is the Grand Old Party. So this is a category about parties. And it's specifically about music festivals. Though some music festivals are happening this year, many have been canceled again, especially in Europe, even though they've had the Euro and all those sorts of things. So name one of 2 European festivals, music festivals, both first held in 1970, that were canceled for the second year in a row in 2021. One of these festivals takes place in Somerset, England, and the other in its namesake city in Denmark. And here, well, let's throw bonus points. 2 points if you can name them both.
I'm pretty sure, because I remember seeing when the Arctic Monkeys first became like a big overseas band, they were a headliner at, I think, this festival.
I think Copenhagen is the only city I can name in Denmark, and I can't imagine there's some kind of Copenhagen festival.
No, that's what I wrote down.
Okay.
Only one I know.
I do think I remember the British one though. I think it's Glastonbury.
Sounds good.
That I've heard that a few times. I've heard people talking about like going to Glastonbury. There was a podcast I used to listen to until they kind of shut down during the pandemic. One of the hosts had gone to Glastonbury, I think in 2019. So I'm okay to lock that in if you are.
Yep, go for it.
All right.
Okay, so we were thinking, I do remember seeing flyers for this when I was really more into music and younger. I think there's 2. I think there's Reading and Leeds, I think, are the 2 big British music festivals. And I think Reading is older. So I think it's Reading Festival. I think that's what we're going to lock in with.
So we've got Reading and or Reading and Glastonbury, and there is such a thing called the Reading Festival, though Reading is not in Somerset, and the answer is in fact Glastonbury Festival is one of the big music festivals in Europe every year, well, except for the last 2 years. And the Danish festival, we need a Danish boy rules read now, and that is in Roskilde. And Roskilde is really great because it's very, very far north, as Denmark is, right? So you can go see a band at 11 o'clock and it's still light outside. It's pretty cool. All right, question 9 in round 2. The category is Women in Science. Barbara McClintock, the 1983 Nobel Prize winner in physiology and medicine, made amazing contributions to the field of genetics through her studies of what staple plant?
We aren't too familiar with this question. We know the name Barbara McClintock, so we have a plant, which is half the battle, and we're going to lock it in.
Yeah, Robert Plant.
It's killing me because I'm familiar with the name Barbara McClintock, but apparently not enough to remember this. Yeah, my gut goes to like corn, beans, like soybeans, kidney beans, something like that.
I'm good with any of those. I really have no idea whichever one you're leaning towards.
Maybe it's just because It's corn harvesting season in the Midwest, but I'm feeling corn.
Yeah, we didn't know. We know the name, and this is probably way off. But Matt and I were just talking about our affinity for the brothers known as the Mario Brothers, so we said mushroom.
Well, I tried to give you a little hint here with the word amazing. Maize, of course, is another word for corn. Yeah, and so McClintock's work studied the genetics of corn and how the kernels, the color of the kernels, and how you can get all the mixed different kernels on a single cob. Corn is correct. All right, the last question of round 2, and the category is, I saved this for last, is Chicago TV. I had a category about Chicago TV. I almost used this as the midpoint, but decided that might give certain people an advantage. But here's the question. Chicago policeman Will Gorski, who was played by Brian J. Smith, is one of an octet of major characters in what Netflix original series? It ran for 2 seasons plus a full-length movie. Other characters in the show included a DJ from Iceland, an actor from Mexico, and a chemist from India.
We're going to lock in over here.
I said an octet, right? Will Gorski, that name is familiar.
I'm trying to think. It's also like, to say like a Chicago policeman and then like a DJ from Iceland. That's really eclectic.
Watched a lot of Netflix during the pandemic, but apparently I didn't watch this one.
Yeah, as it is with Netflix these days, they crank more of it out than you can possibly watch. Some of it good, but
just think about Ken. That's all I'll say. Just think about Ken.
I'm totally out of runway here, Kristen.
Well, we think this is a show that was done by some filmmakers that Ken is fond of. They had a production office here in the city, and we went with Sense8.
Oh.
Yes, octet was the clue there. There were 8 title characters, all created in a cluster, and I won't go bother with the how that happens, but the answer is Sense8, developed by the Wachowskis and directed by Lana Wachowski, I believe.
It is very, very close. So we have Kristen 40 hands / 40 ounces of trivia. I just love saying it. With 167 points. And Team Teletubbies, oh man, I can't even get our own team name right now. Teletubby Prompter with 171 points. So 171 to 167. And Doug, I'm going to ask you for the categories, but just very quickly wanted to thank Kristen and Doug for both being Patreon supporters and helping our show continue to grow. Something that I believe Jeff mentioned just a few questions ago was that a podcast he listens to unfortunately shut down due to the pandemic. But luckily, we were able to keep going, and we're proud to say that we didn't miss a week. And that was mostly due to all of our support from you on Patreon, helping our show continue to grow, but also give us the tools to continue to record and have guests on from around the world over the internet and keep releasing episodes each and every week, even through a pandemic. So thank you very much to everyone who supported the show. If you'd like to have all of that extra audio content and some extra perks, you can join us at patreon.com/Triviality Podcast.
And if you like Kristen, you could listen to 15 hours of Triviality a week.
That's right.
On your commutes. And that's, by my math, as of today's recording, I think this is going to be episode 225 or just after. That would be 15 hours for 15 weeks just to get through our regular catalog, not to mention all of our bonus episodes and all of our Patreon exclusive bonuses. So
that's some great math there.
We got you covered.
All right. Your 5 categories. The first one, and not to confuse this with, but the first category is called 5 questions. So things about the number 5. The 1880s. Third category is swamped. Fourth category is may I have a word with you? That is the letter U. And the last category, 5th category, is textiles.
All of our wagers are now locked in. Let's go to Doug for the questions.
All right, here we go. Question number 1 in the final round. 5 questions. So this is a music question, including Ben Folds himself. The Ben Folds 5 was comprised of how many musicians? Question number 2, the 1880s. Not the 1980s. The 1880s were an incredibly important decade for the development of the automobile, including Carl Benz's Motorwagen. But what other German scientist and engineer also made major contributions during that decade on things like the internal combustion engine and the first two-wheeled and four-wheeled petroleum-powered vehicles. A company bearing his name owned a major U.S. automobile maker from 1998 to 2007. Question number 3, Swamped. This is actually going to be a comic book question. The 1982 movie Swamp Thing was written and directed by Wes Craven and starred Dick Durock in the title role, and was based on the Vertigo DC Comics character of the same name. Comic Book Hall of Fame writer Len Wein, that's W-E-I-N, co-created Swamp Thing. However, Wein is better known for co-creating what Marvel character, who first appeared in an Incredible Hulk issues number 180 and 181 in 1974. Question number 4, may I have a word with you? Bit of a history question here. U-Tant, so that's letter U, space, capital T-H-A-N-T, so U-Tant, the Secretary General of the United Nations from 1961 to 1971, hailed from what country? Either the name of the country at that time or its current name is an acceptable answer. So that country's name has changed between then and now.
Just a heads up, Matt, there are more countries than Isotini that have changed names.
Very helpful.
And question number 5, textiles. Cinchilla, a polyester textile made from recycled plastic bottles, is the primary material used in fleeces made by what outdoor wear company? Though the company is based in California, their fleeces would probably be great to wear near the southern tip of South America.
Okay, we will go over these and be back with our answers. Okay, all of our answers are now locked in, and let's see how this close game is going to shake out. Doug, we can hear those questions one more time, and we'll give our answers.
All right, question number 1 in the final is called 5 questions, including Ben Folds himself. The Ben Folds 5 was comprised of how many musicians?
We could start here, I guess. We wagered 20 points on this one. We were pretty sure that it was no more than 5, but we think that Ben Folds 5 is a 3-piece, so we went with 3.
For this one, yeah, we thought, including Ben Folds, it was a trio. A little misleading with the 5. We bet 15 on this.
Points to both sides. The Ben Folds 5 was a trio and not a quintet. They just thought that Ben Folds 5 sounded better than Ben Folds 3, and it was Ben Folds, Robert Sledge, and Darren Jesse were the musicians who made up. Once the Ben Folds 5 broke up, he went into his bands have been larger. He's even written some orchestral music these days. All right, very good. In the 1880s, we've got the 1880s were an incredibly important decade for the development of the automobile, including Carl Benz's Motorwagen. But what other German scientist and engineer also made major contributions during that decade on the internal combustion engine and the first two-wheel and four-wheel petroleum-powered vehicles? A company bearing his name owned a major U.S. automobile maker from 1998 to 2007.
Okay, we wagered 15 on this one, and I think one of the partners of Carl Benz in the early stages was an engineer named Gottlieb Daimler, and I'm pretty sure Daimler AG is Mercedes' parent company, and I think they had like a controlling interest in Chrysler at one point, so we locked in with Daimler.
Ooh, there's a lot of things that sound 100% correct. We wagered 20 and went with the less correct sounding Aston Martin.
Yeah, that was great. Great there, Jeff. It is, in fact, Gottlieb Daimler. Chrysler was known as Daimler Chrysler from 1998 to 2007. They no longer own Chrysler, but they do own, there was Daimler Mercedes for a while, and Daimler and Benz were both adversaries and partners in the development of the automobile back in that decade. So very good. Third question, Swamped. I'll skip some of the background. Basically, I'm asking here, comic book Hall of Fame writer Len Wein co-created Swamp Thing. However, Wein is better known for co-creating what Marvel character, who first appeared in Incredible Hulk issue numbers 180 and 181 in 1974.
We wagered 20 on this one as well. I initially had said Silver Surfer, but Matt corrected me and said he believes that he appeared in Fantastic Four. So we went with another kind of quirky character like Swamp Thing, and we said Rocket Raccoon.
We wagered 15 as well. We had no idea. Neither Jeff nor I are big comic book people. And we kind of came up with, not that he was a one-trick pony, but maybe he created the Thing. So we went with the Thing.
Both excellent guesses, but no points here. You didn't have to go that deep into the Marvel canon to find Wolverine.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
Okay. May I have a word with you? So this is a question about Utah, the Secretary General of the United Nations from 1961 to 1971. And he hailed from what country? And either the name of the country from that time or its current name is an acceptable answer.
Yep, thinking about countries that would have changed names since then. I do kind of remember this one. I'm pretty sure for 15 points that Utah was Burmese, so we said Myanmar.
Yeah, we wagered. We're going to lose 15 points on this one, is what I mean to say. We were thinking of countries that changed their name, kind of leaning back to the Democratic Republic of the Congo, which I think was Zaire at the time, but we'll say Congo or Zaire.
A very good guess, but again, the 40 ounces of trivia have gotten it right. Utah was from Burma, or what is now known as Myanmar. And then finally on textiles. So this is a question about Cinchilla, Cinchilla, a polyester textile made from recycled plastic bottles, is the primary material used in fleeces made by what outdoor wear company? And though the company is based in California, their fleeces would be great to wear near the southern tip of South America.
Yeah, we wagered 20 on this one. We weren't too sure. We threw a bunch of fleece names out there, North Face and whatnot. But Matt mentioned that REI, I think, is based in California, which I agreed with. So we said REI.
Yeah, we had similar conversations. We bet 10 on this one. We had said North Face, REI, but then Jeff came up with Patagonia. And thinking of southern tip of South America, thought it was kind of the region down there. It all worked out great. So we said Patagonia.
And that reasoning is absolutely correct. The answer is Patagonia. And they have made a lot of their fleeces, not all their fleeces, but a lot of these fleeces out of this post-consumer plastic for many years.
Well, we are flattened over here. Teletubby prompter. We were crushed horribly.
You got upgraded from the 90s to the current flat screens.
That is true. So we're going to end the game with 116 points. But today's cream of the crop and a very worthy birthday present for Kristen at the team over at Kristen 40 Hands / 40 Ounces of Trivia with 207 points. You are today's cream of the crop.
Cream will rise to the top. Oh, yeah.
Yay.
Nice.
Cheers, Jeff.
Thank you. You were an awesome teammate. So this was a lot of fun. I appreciate your coming on today.
Well played, everybody. That was a lot of fun for me too.
Yeah, great questions, Doug. Really spanned just a bunch of different genres, and the fact that you were able to win Jeopardy with all these different categories is very impressive. So I'm glad that it inspired a game today.
Yeah, well, I won one game, so the other game wasn't quite so good. But I just when it came to me that your game and those two games had the same number of questions, I kind of felt like I had to do it.
Well, it was awesome, and we very much appreciate you writing it for us today. Anyone you'd like to shout out for today, for this game?
I'd like to shout out my family who helped play test this, and my good friend Tara Whittle, who also gave the questions a look over as well. And I want to thank you all for having me do this tonight. And this is sort of a bummer, but we had to put our dog down this morning, and this was a great distraction So thank you so much for having planned this at this time, because otherwise I'd be doing nothing but being sad. So this was a lot of fun. Thank you very much.
Well, you're very welcome. We're really sorry for your loss, and just happy that we're able to spend some time with you today and be a helpful distraction. But what was your dog's name?
Star.
Well,
and she lived a good long 17-year life, so her time had come, but it was still really hard.
It's never easy.
It never is easy, and we'll dedicate your performance today to Star because it was a great hosted game, and we appreciate it. And Kristen, it was your birthday celebration today. You obviously crushed me and Matt, but the floor is yours for anyone you'd like to shout out or anything you'd like to say.
Well, I did a lot better than I thought I would. So I was like, let me just get one question right and not be carried the whole time. And that was a lot of fun, you guys. I appreciate you letting me celebrate my birthday with you. You guys, like I said, have gotten me through so many hours of commute going to work. And just thank you for everything that you guys do to keep this podcast going and everybody supporting it. It's been so much fun. It's such a release. You guys are hilarious. Great to put the faces to the voices now. I know you say that all the time, but thank you to my husband and my kids for being quiet and so I can do this. And so much fun. Thank you guys so very much. I appreciate it. Sweet birthday.
Well,
Happy
we are so happy
birthday.
to have you today. Yes, happy birthday and
Thank
happy
you.
future birthday, Doug, coming up soon. So it's a birthday extravaganza today.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
But of course. And thank you both for joining us today. Unfortunately, like we said, Ken wasn't here giving that tour of Frank Lloyd Wright's house by candlelight, but we hope he's having a good time. Matt, thank you for being a great partner. And Jeff, thank you for your musk. It is always welcomed. So
Is it?
Yeah, it is welcome. For Jeff, Matt, Ken, Kristen, and Doug, my name is Neal, and that was Triviality. And for the record, we know mushroom is a fungus, but we panicked.
That's really funny. It's a culinary vegetable.